What's up, you guys, and welcome to an amazing episode of the Ask Alex Show, episode 90.
Whoa.
Yeah, 90 episodes I've done this show, and in 90 episodes, you guys have sent me some really dope topics. Some people I've got to know personally, some people that like know me from Facebook who send me this type of stuff, and this is actually a lot of fun doing this show. I think this is probably the most consistent thing that I have done on YouTube, bar none off of all my YouTube channels. But this show would not be possible without you guys, and it also wouldn't be possible without my two amazing co-hosts in the world. I got Jeremy from Movies Are Terrible and Ian from The Controversy. How are you guys doing today?
Man, you set the bar really high by saying this is going to be an excellent show. I don't want to let anybody down, in particular Iris Peoples, because she's always coming with the fire questions.
Iris
Yes.
Peoples.
Yes.
Shout out to Iris Peoples, by the way. She did not send any questions this week. I hope not, because
Iris.
of last week. but I'm sure she'll send us more
No,
questions.
she's
But
the
I do
best.
got
I hope not.
I do have two excellent questions for us to answer. But guys, if this is your very first time ever watching any of our videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Then hit that bell right next to it, that we get all the notifications of every time we're releasing a video here on my YouTube channel. And guys, do me a huge favor, hit that like button as well. That way we get all the notifications of every time our videos get in the algorithm. If you hit that like button, I guarantee you will see more of our content every time we're putting out videos. And guys, if this is your very first time ever watching this show or sending us questions, just send me an email at theaskalexshow@gmail.com. That's theaskalexshow@gmail.com. If you send us a topic or question that's reasonable, we will definitely have the chance to answer it on the show. I try to take questions that are actually kind of different and fun, and also that are relevant to things that are happening now. So if you send us some great questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them. But today we have somewhat of a short show today, and I can't wait to dive into it. A lot of Spider-Man news that has happened in literally the last 24 hours, and this show will come out on Thursday. So I can't wait to see what your thoughts are. And we got our first question from a new person, a Miss Megan Wright, if I'm pronouncing her last name right. Megan Wright, and her question writes, "Hey Alex, so with all the Spider-Verse news, what are the chances that Miles Morales will be in the MCU Spider-Man 3? Thank you for taking my question." Well, thank you for taking thank you for asking that question, Megan. It's funny. Me and the guys talked about Spider-Verse actually happening before Spider-Verse was confirmed yesterday. Not only did we get Doc Ock confirmed, Andrew Garfield, Kristen Dunst was confirmed. So far, we haven't heard anything about Tobey Maguire being confirmed, but I know for a fact he's confirmed if Doc Ock is coming back. I don't see them doing a Spider-Man 3 with the Tobey Maguire era characters without him in it. I said on my live show that and I have nothing to confirm this with, but I feel like this is a no-brainer. The main villains of this movie has to be the Sinister Six. You have Electro, you have Vulture, you have Doc Ock, you have Scorpion, who's in jail at the moment. Morbius is debatable because Morbius is somewhat connected because we saw Michael Keaton at the end of that trailer. And then we also have Mysterio. Now, I explained that Mysterio probably is dead or maybe not dead. I don't know. It could have been a whole illusion. So you have your Sinister Six core characters. If they choose to add more characters, it would make sense. Now, to have 3 Spider-Man face off, maybe six people who are different in their abilities. In my humble opinion, I don't know if we'll see Miles Morales. I would love to see Miles Morales. Miles Morales has definitely been mentioned in the Spider-Verse to a degree, but I can't see them doing a Spider-Verse movie without him necessarily being there or mentioned yet again. Like, I don't know if we'll have an actual casting per se, but I do think that we will have a reference of him being there. I also don't believe that if they're going to do a Spider-Verse movie with these 3 versions of Peter Parker, that it has to be anything other than the Sinister Six. Like, what else could they be doing? Doctor Strange is in this movie, which leads me to believe that Morbius is going to be in this movie. So I mean, they're 2 dark characters that have a really tight-knit past along with Spider-Man. So I don't know what this is going to be, but this is definitely a Spider-Verse movie. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. So I'm gonna pass this to Jeremy now. Last time when we talked about this, Jeremy did not like the idea of a Spider-Verse happening in this particular format. Because we never had a grounded Spider-Man. So I was just wondering, have your opinions changed, or are you excited about the recent news coming? And do you think Miles will be in Spider-Man 3?
You gotta fight for Megan Wright not to party. Ian, you know you love that shit.
I'm unfollowing you on all social media platforms right now. God dang.
That shit made you mad. Oh, sorry about that, bro. Sorry about that. I think I think this is it's a mess. I think this is all a mess. I think it's 20 too many characters. Andrew Maguire. Tobey Maguire's a dickhead.
That would be funny if that character showed up.
Yeah.
We have Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Maguire.
I don't know. I don't know about any of it. Okay. Tobey Maguire. He hasn't acted in a long time. I would be shocked to see him come back. He can be the dead Spider-Man, right? Like, in this multiverse, that Spider-Man's dead. So we've got Kirsten Dunst's characters like in Mourning, just like in Into the Spider-Verse, right? Like,
right.
Happens in the movie.
Right.
Aaron is in the MCU. That's been established. So Uncle Aaron is in it. Miles has already basically been referenced, not by name. I don't want them to introduce Miles. Maybe like mention his name in this, but I think that would be relegating him way too far to the sideline, especially as a beloved comic book character of this generation. It's like Spider-Man, 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 and the Black Spider-Man. Like, just give him his own movie in a little bit. Like, please. Sinister Six. Morbius, I don't think, has ever been a member of the Sinister Six. So they would have to do a little rejiggering to make that happen, which is fine. I don't really care. The villain, that's a really good question. If it's not the Sinister Six, who is it? Multiverse, so yeah, Doctor Strange has to be in it. Is Mysterio coming back? I don't know. Like you said, his whole thing is illusions, so that makes it pretty easy to... at this point, they've got every single get-out-of-jail-free card that the comic books had, whether it be multiverse, time travel, like illusions. At this point, they can bring anybody they want back from the dead. Nothing has any stakes. They can just... I'm kind of excited to see it because it's going to be a spectacle. But, you know, like when you look at the amount of characters, that's like almost that's like Age of Ultron level amount of characters, or like not quite Endgame, but you get what I'm saying. That's a whole lot of characters to bring together, and Sony has not laid the groundwork, I don't think, for all of that yet. And then how do you go from a Sinister Six movie to a solo Morbius origin movie? I don't know, man. I can't make sense of all of it. But no, my stance has not changed. I still think it's over the top, and I don't like it.
You know, that's actually an interesting point that you made, because you're absolutely right in the thing that you said, that Sony in a way has not laid the groundwork for a movie like this. And you know, actors like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire have been vocal and said that they are not necessarily interested in the past, not recently, but in the past, have said they're not interested in coming back. But I've actually heard Ian say, you know, you give them a certain amount of money, they're going to come back, like, you know. But Ian, what do you think about this whole Spider-Verse stuff? And do you think Miles Morales will come back or come into Spider-Man 3 since he's already been referenced?
Well, I don't know if I exactly said the money is going to bring him back, but I did call many times that this was going to happen before this even was rumors and stuff like that. I was the one that said, hey, I think we're gonna do a multiverse a year ago. So that I'm right, please send me some money to my Cash App. But let's so I'm loving all this news, and I'm going to shit all over this old man's argument about, oh, it's not going to work. It's too much Spider-Man for me. I'll get diabetes. Shut up. Okay. First of all, be a little bit more open-minded to the fact that these are established characters.
I'll let all you idiots do that.
Okay, well, all right. So a lot of these old Spider-Man movies, especially Spider-Man 2, did not work because they just threw in a lot of these characters we didn't even know. Like Spider-Man 3 gave us Venom, gave us a new.
Wait, you didn't like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2? Or are you referencing Amazing Spider-Man 2?
All right, follow me, brother. I said Amazing Spider-Man 2 and then Spider-Man 3.
Oh, my
bad.
Okay,
cool. All right, so we these movies, Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, didn't work because they threw us a lot of characters that we didn't know. They weren't established. Right. I think this one actually will work because these characters are established. That's why I feel like Endgame and Infinity War worked perfectly. You didn't have to develop these characters because we knew these characters. So we do know Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. We do know Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Of course, we know Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And we even know these villains. So we don't even have to set up a crazy Sinister Six like Amazing Spider-Man 2 tried to do. Stupid ass scene. But we do know these characters. So I do think it would actually work. I think they are going to use the formula of Marvel with the help of Marvel, because they will be executive producing this movie. It's not just all Sony. You know, I do understand the concern with Sony, but my faith has risen a little bit with Sony because of the multiverse stuff. What they did with the Amazing Spider-Man, the Miles Morales Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The question of will Miles Morales be showing up? I do think he will show up. Is he going to be a key character like the other three? I don't think so. It might be like a reference or like a head nod, kind of like with the first Spider-Man, the first Tom Holland Spider-Man. He might just be like a kid, like, oh, and, you know, just, I think he'll show up. Is he going to be in action? Absolutely not. That might be for another, like, Into the Spider-Man movie, like his solo movie, because I think that would be the smart thing to do, is like, kind of what Jeremy was saying, let the Black Spider-Man be his thing. Don't let him be the sidekick to these other guys. He deserves his own solo stuff. So that's what I'd be rooting for. And I did want to say something too, what he said about Electro. I didn't think Electro would show up as well until actually Jeremy was talking about the illusion thing. This is my new theory. Electro will show up, but it won't be Jake Gyllenhaal. Let me explain. Remember, he had a team of people with the illusions. They might give an illusion of Electro. The team might give that illusion of Electro. Will it actually be Electro? Maybe not. That's how I would write it. You know, give that fear of, oh, I thought you were dead, and he's just showing up. And then, you know, they find out it was just the team doing illusion. So that's my theory I'm throwing out. That's how I would write it. But he would still be dead. The team still lives. But yeah, that's all of my TED Talk. Sorry, I went a little bit overboard.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine, man. Do you mean, because you said Electro, do you mean Electro or Mysterio?
I'm sorry, Mysterio. Yeah, we're terrible with names here. Sorry.
You are.
So Mysterio, Electro will show up, Jamie Foxx, and hopefully he will redeem himself. Mysterio will show up as his team, not actual Jake Gyllenhaal, is what I was saying. Sorry.
So yeah, I agree with that. I'm actually going to pass it to Jeremy really quickly, but I wanted to say, because you brought up something that I didn't really think about, because you said that Mysterio's dead to have his team. Electro's dead too. So is Doc Ock.
This is multiverse stuff, though, bro. I mean, you could.
That's true, but like, if let's just say hypothetically that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man universes are canon. Okay, so if you're gonna bring those characters back and they're dead, how are you bringing them back to life? So I'm gonna pass that to Jeremy.
You know, real quick, I think Ian's idea about Miles being a starstruck young kid, almost similar to the kid in Avengers that saw Tony fly into the thing. Because if you think about how old Aaron was in Homecoming, Miles would be a young child, not a 16-year-old.
He would have to be like 10.
Right. And that's too young to fight crime. But I like Ian's idea of introducing him as being just a kid and not being Spider-Man. As far as the idea of bringing him back, like Ian said, it's the multiverse, and that's what I don't like about that shit is that you at any given time. But okay, so I'm of two minds because it does work in the medium of comic books, right? The thing about comic books is you can tell by the illustrations, you can tell by the writers, you can tell that this is a completely different take on the characters. When you see like Chris Claremont run of X-Men versus Jack Kirby Stan Lee run of X-Men, you understand that these are two different. I said Kirby, that's not right. Who did X-Men? Leave that in the comments section.
I do think Kirby did assist Stan Lee with X-Men.
Okay, nice.
Jack
Then I
Kirby,
don't look
yeah.
like a complete idiot. But yeah, that idea that in comic books you just kind of expect it in the medium. I don't like the idea of nothing matters. At this point, it feels so like in-game, right? Like we're gonna go into Spider-Man 2. Not Amazing Spider-Man 2. We're going to go into Spider-Man 2 and we're going to see the diner scene where Doc Ock is throwing the cars at like that's what I'm worried about, that it's just going to replay the greatest hits from the Spider-Man movies. I don't want that. We just got that. Okay, so we're not going to go the time travel. We're going to go the multiverse route. We just got that with Spider-Man, the exact same character. Then we're getting it again with Doctor Strange. So I don't think age plays into it. I think it's just a more discriminating palette. Like just because there's superheroes in it doesn't automatically make it good.
That's a good point, because when you were talking, I thought about the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover. A lot of the people that, like, for instance, we had Titans, Doom Patrol, all these people who were supposed to be in the show, and they were, but we saw like scenes of their shows, not them actually interacting with our main CW characters.
I did not know that.
So they're in the show, but we just saw their Earth die. Ian, I'm gonna pass that question to you. Do you think it's just them bringing back characters that are past, that are dead? You think it's just a multiverse and they just have a way to retcon it?
Yeah, it's the only way to. I mean, if they're dead, like they're not gonna, unless they have the Lazarus Pit, and this is a whole different, this is a whole different universe. So, but no, it's got to be multiverse. They're not. If they ended up faking their death, I'm gonna walk out the theater. So it's got to be a multiverse thing.
Or to Ian's theory, and I think it could be that this is all a big fabrication.
That'd be dope too, actually. Ooh, that's another layer of it. I like that.
Yeah.
I was just talking about Mysterio, but the whole thing being a fabrication, because they did say that Doctor Strange is going to be in this movie, so there's going to be a lot of fuckery going on when it comes to the illusions. So that's actually a really good theory. I like that a lot. I'm going to be talking more about that on my live stream of my theories and stuff like that. But no, I do think the situation is going to be, it's going to be a multiverse. It's going to be not quite the exact same ones, but a different version of them. So I'm all for it. I understand what Jeremy's saying about we just did this with time travel. We've already seen the multiverse, and it's kind of a cop out. I get that, and I understand your point too as well, Alex, when you talked about the Infinite Crisis shit on the WB. I'm still rooting for this movie because I feel like, as much as I do like the Arrowverse stuff, I feel like these characters on screen, the different Spider-Mans, are a little bit more beloved, and I feel like Sony is on that redemption tour, and they started with Into the Spider-Verse, and I think they're doing a very good job. And at the end of the day, as much as we didn't like some of these Spider-Man movies, we were invested in these characters, and I think that they both deserve a good conclusion because they did kind of just like stop them right in the middle of their tracks and like, all right, we're gonna move on and do something else. So I'm interested. I'm invested as fans of Spider-Man. Will it work? Will it be great? We don't know until we see it, but I'm not gonna just give up on it. I have high hopes.
Yeah, I have high hopes on it as well. I'm going to say on my show in front of you guys, I think that if this is done right, this could potentially be the best Spider-Man movie that we have had right now. I think live action, that title is still at Far From Home, but for Spider-Man overall, I think Into the Spider-Verse animated movie is the best out of all of the films.
For sure.
But if they do this the right way, I think it would probably be the best Spider-Man film. By the way, I never really addressed this either, but if they do bring Miles in, from continuity, Miles would probably be 10 or 11. I know in the comics he was Spider-Man at 13.
Oh,
but I Tom Holland is still a kid himself. So him mentoring another Spider-Man that's a child in a sense, I don't really see that. But then again, like if they age Tom Holland up and actually, because Tom Holland's like, if I'm 26, Tom Holland's like 24, 25. If they make him actually 25 in the universe, then cool. But Tom Holland is still in high school in that universe. So I don't know. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Miles Morales will show up? What do you guys think about the Spider-Verse live action movie actually happening with these different characters? Just drop into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts, guys. And thank you for your question yet again, Megan. Let's go ahead and jump into our last and final question for you guys today. Our last and final question comes from a Nicole Johnson. Shout out to Nicole Johnson, by the way. I actually got a chance to meet her, and she sent me this question. So she's a really cool movie fan. Glad that you guys are glad that you sent me this amazing question. So she writes, "Hey Alex, I heard you say that Disney will soon make a big announcement that Disney Plus will get a lot of new movies on its service. When do you think they will find when do you think that we as an audience will find out about it?" Thank you for your question, Nicole. And if you're watching this, I'm going to give you no insider information because I have none. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And the only reason why I know this for a fact are two reasons. One, HBO Max basically opened the floodgates and said every studio better do what we're doing, because right now, I can tell you right now from looking at our circumstances, Regal's not opening their doors, at least not all of them. AMC, like the AMC theaters here in where I live are somewhat closed. Not all of them, but some of them. I know the one down the road by my house is closed because they're not showing any movies. So I know for a fact that when HBO Max decided to release all those movies on their service in the near future. By the way, I actually signed up for HBO Max so I can watch those movies. That single to me that Disney is going to make a huge announcement at some point in time. Now, this episode of Ask Alex comes out on Thursday. I suspect that today we are hearing that Disney Plus is going to make the announcement that Black Widow and other future Marvel and Disney projects are coming out today. And the only way I know that as well, I heard John Campea say it, that on December 10th, that Disney Plus will be making an announcement that all of these movies will be coming out on Disney Plus on December 10th, which is today when this video comes out. Now, in judging and saying all that, I feel when you're a major business of any kind, you want to compete with your competitors. Also, let's be clear. Like, I mean, I'm sure Jeremy has seen some movies during this pandemic. I went to the drive-in theater, which is definitely not the same as a theater experience. I don't see where Disney has any leeway of making any money from their movies. So what's the next best thing? They're going to put it on Disney Plus. Also, let's keep in mind, they also came out about a month or so ago, maybe less than a month, and said that they're going to be focusing a lot of their content through digital streaming. And if you look at Disney Plus, they're not licensing anything. Like Netflix is basically a online version of Blockbuster. Disney Plus is not. So a lot of their stuff on Disney Plus is owned directly by Disney. They don't have to pay anybody anything. Now, with me saying that, there was some recent news that came out yesterday that the people who are a part of these films, like Chris Nolan and the director from the Dune movie, and even James Gunn himself about Suicide Squad, are not happy at the fact that these movies are having a day-and-date release. So they're going to be on HBO Max and they're going to be in the theaters. So they're thinking, they're not, it hasn't been confirmed, but the DGA, which is the Directors Guild of America, and potentially the SGA and the WGA, they're potentially thinking about boycotting Warner Brothers. Again, that has not been confirmed, but that is a possibility that could happen. That being said, if that actually goes through, some of the movies that were announced on HBO Max may not come out on HBO Max. They may do their actual theater run, but the question is that, okay, well, what theaters are going to be open to have a successful run? And I'm telling y'all right now, I've said it on the show, y'all put this stuff on HBO Max and Disney Plus, that's fine, but I guarantee you we won't see any sequels. I guarantee you, like, we will not see a Mulan 2 because nobody watched it. And I watched that movie on Disney Plus last week. I see why they put it on Disney Plus because it's trash.
Oh,
It's trash. It's trash. I don't know anybody who would pay $30 for that. Uh, Wonder Woman 2. Wonder Woman 2 is the last. I mark my words. Wonder Woman 2 is the last Patty Jenkins film that we will see. That movie is supposed to make $1 billion. It's not going to make $1 billion. It's not. Doom will be. This will be the first and last Doom. Suicide Squad. I don't know if they'll bring them back, but I don't see a sequel in its near future. Same thing with Black Widow. They put Black Widow out on Disney Plus. Okay, cool. Well, she's dead anyway, so we won't see any future films with her anyway. And I think that Disney Plus is looking at strategically what films are going to go on Disney Plus. So I know for a fact Black Widow is going to be in consideration, and then there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 other Marvel films, maybe. And I think the rest are just Pixar or Disney proper movies. I don't think they have anything in the works for Star Wars. But after saying all that, Ian, what do you think about Disney Plus potentially making the announcement that they're going to have a lot of content coming to Disney Plus in response to HBO Max? And also, what do you? I don't think I asked you guys, but what do you guys think about HBO Max having all of these movies come out on this service the day they come out? So I'm gonna start with Ian, our HBO Max expert.
Okay. Well, I hate all this, honestly. I hate that we're in this predicament when it comes to what we're going to do with these already filmed movies or the future of film. I hate that this is even a discussion. I hate that this is going on in our society. This is like the worst case scenario for everything, and I hope that this is just a bump in the cinema world and we can get back to how it was, maybe with this vaccine and stuff like that. Not a scientist, not in the industry, so I don't know. I'm calling bullshit on Alex not knowing some insider because he went to Disney the other day. He talked to some people, so he knows something. No, I'm just kidding. When it comes to the HBO Max stuff, I mean, I'm happy that I get to see this stuff. Like, don't have to get out the house and see. And these are movies I'm guaranteeing I'm ready to see. But I would prefer to see them in the theaters, and I'm pretty sure the studios would prefer that as well. So I think that's maybe a fight for the future. Maybe we should all maybe a lot of these people are speaking up to their dislike of this and boycotting and stuff like that after this pandemic is done with, because I don't think I want to fight it like when I can't go see a movie anyway. I do selfishly want to see these movies. With that being said, though, when things are starting to get back to normal and streaming services might be like, all right, well, we're going to continue doing this, I might join the fight with them. Be like, nah, I think these deserve to be in cinema. I'm not for this. This is not just for the studios, it's for the actors and us to like, and my kids to have this experience. And do I see Disney joining suit? Possibly. I mean, the HBO Max did put it out there like, okay, so what are you guys going to do? You're going to hold back these other Black Widow and all these other movies for another year? No, it'd be financial suicide. So I do think they're going to come in. Like I said, I don't think they're happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I love HBO Max, but I don't, support this deal 100%. But selfishly, I do want to see these movies. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be the end of Patty Jenkins, though, or the end of some of these movies that Alex was saying. I do think it might affect their careers, as in, like, let me try to say this correctly. I don't think if Wonder Woman's a good movie, it's not going to affect her career because a lot of people will hire her again. If she's a good creator, she will be hired. Now, will it affect the quality of movies in the future because they might not give her the same amount of budget because of the quality of movie? That might affect not just her, but anybody else in the studio, which that's another reason I would fight for this protest, because we don't We don't need to downsize anything because we've been going up and up and up when it comes to our technology and movies in general. I've been loving the last 5 years. Some of these movies with CGI has been looking hella fucking real and shit. But the budgets might go down when it comes to the comeback. So that's my opinion on it. I'm not a fan of it, and I will probably join the fight if it continues. But right now, I'm just seeing where things are going. This is right now the transitional phase of experimentation. So we'll see.
Right. And I want to clarify something. I don't mean the end of anyone's career. I mean like Patty Jenkins was slated to do Wonder Woman 3. I don't think that's happening. Not at all. Not at all. I don't. I do, but if they do a Wonder Woman 3 to Ian's point, it's not going to be $100 million. It's going to be like Deadpool money, like $50 million. And especially if they're going to put it on HBO Max. Let's just say hypothetically that the future of movies is streaming, which I do believe will come to that reality at some point. These Deadpool movies, the only time we'll see a big movie in theaters are like your Justice Leagues, your Avengers, and big team-up movies, Spider-Verse. That's what I meant by that. I don't, and like I said, I don't think that we'll see another Dune movie. And I wanted to see that in theaters. Like, I know nothing about the continuity, but Jeremy, you heard about all this news. What do you think about Disney Plus responding to HBO Max? And let me ask you, do you think it's necessary for these creators to boycott Warner Brothers and saying that they don't agree with this move of putting all the movies on HBO Max?
I agree with both of the sentiments that you guys presented. Alex, I think you're making some bold claims, not even claims, but theories about it. Maybe you're right. I can't say one way or the other. That would be nuts. Ian, I also agree with what you're saying about kind of wanting to join the fight. So let me start with the HBO Max side of things to get to the whole point about Disney. And that is a lot of these actors signed back-end deals. Gal Gadot in particular, she was supposed to make a percentage of the gross after X amount of dollars on the theatrical run. Mm-hmm. Now the theatrical run obviously isn't happening. Christopher Nolan came out, Denis Villeneuve came out, and they made public statements about it. Legendary, not happy about the whole situation because they're underneath Warner Brothers. They were supposed to get a theatrical release. That's why they invested so much money into this project. Yeah. And then lo and behold, Legendary are the ones doing Kong versus Godzilla, by the way. So the thing is, and I think Alex, I think both of y'all touched on it. They don't have a choice right now. Are you going to release them in the theaters and jeopardize not making any money? Are you B, going to push them all back to 2021 so that every single weekend's double booked with projects? There's no good answer for this. And I think a lot of us have been operating under the assumption, myself included, that if this happens at HBO and it's a success, then everybody's going to follow suit, with an emphasis on the idea that it was going to be a success. Chances are pretty good they're going to eat shit. Like, chances are pretty good that this is not going to go well for Warner Brothers. It's going to be great for HBO, but I don't see how Warner Brothers is going to come out on top of this situation. I'm sure in their ideal scenario, these movies would be playing at the theaters, and I don't know about how all of this works. Alex, you talked about Disney being their own distributors. They're creating original content to put on their streaming service, which means they don't have to pay anything for it. Yeah. When you look at theaters, exhibitors, the studios have to give away a lot of their profit to the theaters, where now they get to bypass all of that. So everything is profit. So do you have to clear as high of a bar, right? Is a $1 billion movie that plays in the theaters worth a $500 million revenue in extra streaming when the percentages are different? I don't know. My whole point is that I don't know that Disney is ready to put Black Widow on streaming. I think they just kind of have to. And yeah, it's like you said, HBO Max kind of put it out on the table, and Disney was like, well, we've got to do something to incur new viewers, which is funny because Disney's already projected. Alex, you said it a little while ago, and I thought you were insane. Like, Disney's about to hit similar numbers to Netflix as far as subscriptions within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're in the same kind of situation that HBO Max is, where HBO Max doesn't have a lot of subscribers. I don't know how they're going to quantify a success versus a failure. And in a way, that's great for me, especially in the case of Dune. Even though I really want to see Dune and Kong versus Godzilla on the big screen, I feel like at least now Dune can't be a financial failure. Or if it is, they can't blame it on anything other than the pandemic. Anything that fails now, they can be like, yo, it was the pandemic's fault. So I don't see why it would stop Patty Jenkins from getting future jobs as far as being hireable. Now, this whole situation might sour a lot of these filmmakers and then be like, nah, fuck this industry. I'm out. Like, I don't even want to work with these people anymore.
Possibility.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And maybe Patty Jenkins only does indie movies from now on. But I think both of you make really good points about it. I don't think this is an ideal situation for anybody. I think they are trying to just unroll this 1-year plan. Things are going to suck. They're going to lose millions and millions of dollars in hopes that next year things get back to normal. And will they? I don't know, man. It just depends on viewers' habits. If we're cool watching it at the house and we continue to do that, and they open all the theaters back up and nobody goes, that's the end.
That's the end too. Yeah, like you said, that when people are just conditioned, like the movie Wall-E, to just stay in their seats and watch stuff. That is the worst case scenario. I do not want to see that. I do want to say one thing too, though. When Alex said that they might give them lower budgets and stuff like that, that might be a gift and a curse. Like I said about the great CGI, I've been loving it for the last years, and I've wanted to see more of it. And I think The Mandalorian is showing definitely a lot of that. But that being said, though, it might push people to be a little bit more creative, and we might get better stories from that. So that's the yin and yang to that, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we've made that point before on the show. Like, if you give someone a lower budget, it does push them to be more creative. Like the one thing, because Ian mentioned The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's, I believe, like $125 or $150 million budget, but that's stretched out for 8 episodes. So like it's stretched out. Like if that means if I'm spending 25 million or 50, I'm just guesstimating like 25 million per episode, that means I'm pushing my creativity to bring out great effects, great storytelling, and paying everybody in the process. So I just think that he's right in saying that, you know, if you give people less money, it does push them to be creative. When I look at, you know, the first Deadpool movie, I see why it's $50 million, but it's an amazing movie. It's a centered story about Deadpool. And you didn't need the top of line effects to do a Deadpool movie. Now, I think you can't do an Avengers movie with $50 million, obviously, because there are a lot of things that go into that. But at the same time, I do agree with the point. If you give them 50, or if you give them a lower budget, it does push them to be a little bit more creative. One thing I want to point out, I could be wrong. I could be so wrong. Patty Jenkins could probably get more work in terms of with Warner Brothers or furthering along her career with that whole team and others who are coming out against that particular studio. So I don't want to make it seem like I am the end all be all, but I do believe that Patty Jenkins, because I know for a fact she was upset. I know for a fact she probably will not make a Wonder Woman 3 movie if it's not financially viable for her or anybody else at Warner Brothers / Legendary. By the way, Legendary is on the lot of Warner Brothers. How the hell you do not let Legendary know that you're doing all this shit? Like that didn't make any sense. That's like these guys here being my neighbors. I'm like, hey, I'm going to shoot the show today, but I'm not going to include your opinions. But we're going to shoot the show today. That doesn't make any sense. Like, doesn't make any sense at all. But what do you guys think about this whole Warner Brothers thing, this whole Disney Plus, potentially adding more content to Disney Plus? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And by the way, if that story did break today as we're recording, I'm just going to be the one to say, I told you so. But anyway, that is our show today, guys. We had an amazing time doing this show. I would like to thank Ian and Jeremy for being on the show today on episode 90. So Jeremy, where can we find you on YouTube and social media?
you know, the longer that we spend on the earth, the less time we have, you know? And
Yes.
I just wanted to say that one of the first things that go as you age is patience. So just throwing that out there. As I get older, I don't have time to be patient. That's what I'm trying to say. Get vaccinated, people. Don't not get vaccinated. We need your help. We need at least a good chunk of you guys to go get vaccinated. So please do that. And check out Movies Are Terrible on YouTube.
Yes. Ian, would you like to add to that and include your social media as well?
Yeah, I guess I got to give a life lesson to my thing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please flush the toilet and then wash your hands
Good advice.
and wear a mask. All right, so we can go back to the movie theaters. And if you would like to see a lot more of my content, please go to youtube.com/thecontroversy, where we do a live stream every Wednesday. And I have some dope commentary about some of the trending topics or some of the great stuff I love from pop culture. So yeah, check me out there. And all my social media is on there if you want to follow me. If not, I don't give a damn. Just go to the YouTube, please.
Awesome. Yes. And you know where to find us, guys, here at Momentum Media. Please like, comment, and subscribe to all of our stuff here on YouTube. We're coming out with a lot of great content. By the way, I did say that Real Debates will come out sometime this year. I'm actually pushing it into 2021. I want to give us some time to breathe, and we are recording more, but I'm just going to push it back to 2021 to get the year started right with a banger with that. So definitely check that out. And check out all of our other content. Please check out these guys' content as well. Great content coming from both channels as they produce more stuff. So thank you guys for watching this video. And as always, you have a blessed day.